Morning, everybody. Welcome again to the Village Guy Morning Show. As always, we chat to people from Paarl and Wellington doing amazing things. And our guest today doesn't really need introduction in Paarl and Wellington. I interviewed him, I think, 3 years ago, and now 3 years later, 2019, he was Mr. SA. But he's also got a super exciting foundation I want to chat to him about. It's called Upcycling, and of course, so Village Guy also loves giving back to the community, and he's in the forefront of it. So I just wanted to find out what he's been doing over the past 3 years after Mr. SA, what are the big dreams? Yeah. Morning, dude.
Thanks, Myles. So I say the Village Guy.
Yeah.
It is an honor being here, and I remember 3 years ago, we had our 30 seconds, and we had quite a deep chat, and it's nice to be back, to be honest. I'm so proud of you and how you also reached higher heights. And
thanks,
I believe,
dude.
The Village Guy is just inspiring Paarl and Wellington and the Drakenstein, just to live the best lives that they set out to do. So I do follow you a lot on social media. That helps a lot. You feel close. So when I saw you this morning, after 3 years, it just feels like
you haven't aged in 3 years, eh?
I tried to.
What's keeping you busy?
Busy, I must say. I'm very privileged to work at Tiptrans. We're in the transport industry. I do the HR and the industrial relations. So that's my day to day, 9 to 5. I always say 6 to 6 rather.
Yeah.
And then, of course, close to my heart is UpcycleSA, the sports foundation that basically takes disregarded sports equipment, or sometimes I'm privileged to buy new ones and then donate that to less fortunate schools and communities. Recently I was involved in this informal cricket, the Lanky cricket.
Massive.
It's something so close to my heart to see that those people rise above their circumstances and inspired to become the better versions of themselves, and to do that through sports, and to encourage those little kids on the street, to get involved and stay away from, I'd say, drugs and gangsterism, because that's a reality in our communities these days. And it's so nice to see the elders in the community and setting example for the youth, to say this is where you must get involved, and this is where you find that sense of belonging and the camaraderie and that excess energy, not to use that somewhere else, but on the sports field. So
no, dude. I mean, that Lanky cricket in Paarl and Wellington is crazy. I mean, every year I sponsor one of the tournament. It's called the El Clasico. So they, like, two of the top teams play against each other on the Lanky cricket. So 2019, Mr. SA. I mean, how's that been impacting the life?
Yeah, that changed my life, to be honest. And I had a hectic year, and I was so privileged again. Because remember, I was a teacher for 7 years, and I was teaching during the year I was crowned. So unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to fulfill my responsibilities of Mr. South Africa, being in teaching, because that's a 24/7 job and being hands-on. And I was privileged to go to my adoptive father's, his company, and I was more flexible. So I was traveling quite a lot, working early morning, and then late nights I would probably fly out to Johannesburg, do pageants, do presenting, and also guest speaking, because it's a story of hope. That's the reason I needed a platform, and God gave me a platform, and I used it to the best of my abilities. So that kept me busy for about a year full on. I would say my diary was fully booked. And then there came a time when I said, God, I can't do this. Like late nights and early mornings, it's tiring me out. And then I would say COVID, for me, I wouldn't say it was like a blessing in disguise. So my life just eased down a bit. It was very sad, because during that time I would always say I would use UpcycleSA, where people would ask me to come and do guest speaking, because I believe it's a story of hope. But of course, there's traveling costs involved, but people were willing to donate towards Upcycle to have me come and speak at an event, and I would use that money to help others, that are struggling financially, or they need food parcels as well through Upcycle. And then when COVID hit, all my bookings, eased down, and it didn't happen anymore. So that extra income wasn't there anymore, and then the need for the people went up, and the finances went down. So that was quite crazy. But I honestly pray to God, and a lot of people. Of course, we live in an amazing community, and people were involved. And through lockdown, I then use Upcycle to donate food parcels to the people.
That is so cool.
And then, it slowly started picking up. And to be honest, Myles, is now 3 years after my crowning, I'm even more busy then
You
directly
tried
after
to run away from it and now you're busy.
But it's amazing how I was given the platform, and now I'm building the platform just even bigger, and the foundation even stronger. So it is nice because I believe an involved pupil is a happy pupil. An involved
100%.
person is a happy person. So I try to be involved as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that it makes me happy.
Fulfilling.
Fulfilling, to be honest, the purpose.
But you also made a small stint in Philippines as for Mr. Manhunt or something.
Mr. Manhunt, that was so.
Do we still have the six-pack? Because I saw in Philippines it was like it was like shredded. Do we still have it?
I do enjoy my brandy and coke with the Bryce. That's a bit difficult, but I do exercise is important.
Yeah.
But Manhunt was a very interesting competition because it's basically a runway model, and Mr. South Africa was always affiliated to Mr. World, where they would want the package. You must be able to present, you must be able to do community work, you must be able to have meaningful interviews. And Manhunt was basically no interviews, just these tall runway models, completely out of my comfort zone, but I really appreciate it because I think the people of the Philippines, like South Africa, we talk about rugby and braai, and those people, they only have pageants because they have a bit of other sports, but pageant is their number one. So you're like a god when you get there to them when you're in the pageant industry. And I arrived there just to show the people basically, because I was there for about 2 weeks, and really got to meet the people, and they really got to know me because it wasn't just, I would say, they say, you're not just a pretty face, there's something more behind it. And I said, that's what life is about, it's about what's on the inside. Even though, you are in the modeling industry or the pageant, looks plays a role, but there's more behind it. And I could build, so I would say, positive relationships. A lot of my followers are from the Philippines, and
nice.
So I don't post a lot on social media, but when I do, they are always interacting and say it's so nice, and I would always ask them how they're doing. So that was for me a blessing going to the Philippines, but it wasn't really something that I enjoyed because it was a very cold effect. Where Mr. South Africa, warm-hearted feeling, and ex-Mr. South Africa, a very good friend of mine, Armand du Plessis, he bought the rights to Mr. World South Africa.
Okay.
So it was a different competition. So Mr. South Africa is not affiliated with Mr. World anymore.
All
so
right.
Mr. World South Africa, their delegate gets sent to Mr. World competition. And I just felt it wouldn't be right because Mr. South Africa is, I would say, the biggest male pageant in South Africa. Wouldn't be right for Mr. South Africa to enter Mr. World South Africa to have a chance going to Mr. World. But I believe that if that was my destination or competition I would enter, I would stand a very good chance because my role model, Dieter Vught, he was there and he did really well, and I would just try and follow in his footsteps and know. But even though our guy, he came second at Mr. World, so that was quite cool.
So what do you tell a guy that comes to you and says, Heinrich, give me a reason why I should enter Mr. South Africa? Not for the, except for the, what you call it, the sponsorships and everything.
I would say,
why would you?
The instant fame, because that's really instant fame, and they call it in Afrikaans kitsroem, and that's really what happened overnight. You become this sensation.
Yeah, because I saw, just like when I had an interview in 2019, I Googled you, and there was like 2 or 3 videos. Now it's like they say if you have a second page on Google filled with stuff, then you made it, and you still had interviews.
To be honest, and I've been interviewed by every single, and one very special to be here, of course, is that, first of all, if you want to enter for those reasons, that's completely wrong. But if you really want to make a difference and get out of your comfort zone, because that really taught me to say, wow, I am involved with community work, but that just put me on a different level to be more involved with people and bring a change to this world. What was it, Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibilities. And that is so true. People look up to you and you become this role model. But the most important is you just have to be yourself. And by being yourself, you say, okay, that's the qualities or the characteristics I have. By being myself, then I'll go for it and I can do this. But if it's something that's you have to try and you pretend it's not going to work. It's going to perhaps work for you for a month or two.
Yeah.
But after that, it becomes a work and not just, I would say it's a hobby. It's a passion for me.
Yeah.
But it has to be your passion because it's quite draining. But any other guy out there that loves the pageant world, it's the ideal platform for them. And I'm thankful. But of course, I wouldn't want to boast myself, but it's a platform given to you, and you have to create it to the platform you desired it to be, and that's exactly what I did. And I believe that I am an example for future Mr. South Africans just to look back and say, okay, Heinrich did that, and it wasn't just a year for me or a few months of being in Rain, a legacy, UpcycleSA. There's so much other things I'm involved with, because I always believe my left hand should never see what my right hand does.
Yeah.
But so it's a perfect platform for someone that wants to bring change.
I 100% agree, and especially if you really have that passion to make a difference in any community, you could just use your social media as well, because people are following you.
We're so privileged to have it. A few
Yeah.
years ago, people didn't have that, and
yeah.
I can just put a post out. This kid needs spikes, or this kid needs a few soccer balls, or this club needs that. And the way people get involved, even on my side, where people would tag me, Heinrich, here's this one daughter needs netball shoes, and I'm like, that's okay, I've got a room full of equipment, and I'll be able to get that.
Cool, dude.
You speak about UpcycleSA. So basically, I go to a school.
Yeah. No, I mean, I also saw like with Boland Athletics, we've got so many of the kids that are going to SA Champs. And they got a letter from the Department of Sport and saying, this is everything you need. And it comes up to like 2,000 rand per kid.
I was there a few years ago.
I mean, I'm thinking, if your parents don't have money, it's just like a dream dasher.
Exactly, and we have probably the most natural talent.
100%.
Raw natural talent in the world, coming from one province. Two
Dorpie,
Dorpie, Paul and Wellington and the Drakenstein. So I really feel for those kids, to be honest, and that is my, getting goosebumps now, that is the reason behind UpcycleSA. And I believe, as I was speaking to you before the time, is that I really want to still be hands-on, involved. I know Upcycle is going to be a foundation reaching the highest heights, but when it reaches that heights, me having all my responsibilities, I will never be able to be that hands-on. But for now, I'm hands-on and meeting the kids and inspiring them and bringing change where it's possible.
So what's for 2022? What's happening?
Yeah, so of course I'm in a 5-year relationship with my girlfriend.
Oh, it's the 5-year mark now.
5-6 years now actually. So soon I'll have to bring change there. And then at work, I'm really honored to be on the executive committee and just taking the company to higher heights. Being the person that I am, playing that role at work, because of course Tiptrans, I'm honored to be there, they're honored to have me there to work on the human resources base, because that's so basically caring for people and making sure they are happy and safe. And then I'm still privileged to play some sports, still rugby and involved.
Nice.
So I love doing that, and I'll do that until my body can't handle it anymore. And then I want to mention this. I got involved with two amazing people, Bernard Hamrock and Corné Heinrich from Momentum, this company. We all know Momentum, a massive company, and they said that they really also want to bring change to this beautiful country. And they read up about me, thanks to Google and the articles. And
Page 2 of Google.
And they asked me to go and have a coffee with them, and we had a chat. And long story short, we are starting a non-profit company, foundation, Mzansi Hope.
That is so
that
cool.
will generate funds for people to go and study further after school. And they are involved in a massive company. They need to take interns in. So hopefully it will be basically a cycle where they can go and study and still be hands-on involved. And one day when they're done studying, they can do their articles there, or they can do their internship at this massive company. So I'm really honored because I'm speaking life over it now. I'm mentioning it to you guys, and that is something that I would really want to pursue. And I believe that Mzansi Hope,
is that the foundation's
name?
Cool, man.
Can bring hope to this beautiful country and be financially stable and strong enough, because love makes the world go round, but unfortunately money too.
Jeez, that's so cool,
so that we can raise enough funds to have people being the thumbs up. Because I remember now at Andrew Murray Children's Home, I think I was one of the first people to go and study after matric.
Yeah.
And they have their foundation as well for those kids in Andrew Murray, because there's funds available and they want to name it after me, which I feel so honored.
Cool, man.
So yeah, we have the golf days, we have wine, wijnveiling,
auctions,
all wine auctions where people can then get involved, and their dream is that every kid that leaves Andrew Murray can go and study further, and not just 4 years, paying for their studies, paying for their university,
cool.
the residences, everything. So Andrew Murray has that, but I believe Mzansi Hope will be able to link up with that, and Durbanville, their children's home, and all other places, and of course have their own little bank account. That
dude,
also,
like you're touching on such the most important issue, sports and education for the kids. I mean, those are like the
and it's so true. You know, we can go into so much depth, and I believe. I always say, I joke around, I say, education is important, but rugby is important too.
Yeah.
Education is so important, and I'm thankful that I was privileged to go and study, because especially, I say every single person has their opinion, whether you have the lowest IQ or the highest IQ, and that's quite dangerous, you understand? Opinion is the lowest form of intelligence, but having people become more educated and that they can reason for certain things, it's so crazy. You know, we can go into depth that Tiptrans is so privileged to be part of. We are subbing for a company that won the tender for the N7 from Malmesbury to Mariatsburg.
Okay.
And now those people in Mariatsburg, they feel so entitled that they have to have jobs, that they have to everyone has to get a job with this N7. And there's one guy on their group page just explain, guys, it doesn't work like that in life. You know, there's certain rules and regulations, and you have to have these certain qualifications and this and that and that, and then we'll have a certain amount coming from Mariatsburg that there's jobs available. So it doesn't help we go to the N7 and start stoning the cars and the trucks. That's not supposed to happen. And it was so cool reading this guy coming from the community and guys, that's not the right way to do certain things. And I believe if those people were educated, they would know, okay, that's, even though education and characteristic or the belief, you know, it's completely apart, but that's so important. And that's my dream for this country, is that everyone coming from out of matric and can have the opportunity to go and study.
I mean, sport education, important. 2 last questions. If you had supper at the table with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Sure, the old cliche. I love my sport, and Brian Abana was a hero for me from a young age.
Cool.
I would love to sit down with him. And at this current moment, probably Nelson Mandela and Vladimir Putin.
At the one table.
To find out his reasoning behind everything now, Jake. So, Nelson Mandela, I think he is really an icon. Every time I go into depth about it, being in prison for 27 years, coming out there and learning to forgive, you know, and that guy was just amazing. So it's a banner, and Mandela. And of course, then someone that played a massive role in my life is my mentor, Dieter Vogt, former Mr. South Africa. I would just bring him along because that he can sit down with the banner and Mandela as well.
Okay, cool.
So Dieter means a lot to me. He's part of UpcycleSA, and he's hands-on involved because he's a teacher at the moment and also a coach. And his kids are doing so well. He's at the Velodrome, Belleville Velodrome.
Oh yeah, I think I saw doing athletics
coaching.
Yeah,
so he helps a lot on ground level with UpcycleSA.
Very cool. And also Mr. SA also has a platform, can use it for positive.
Exactly, cool. And isn't that story amazing? 11 years before my crowning, he meets me as an 18-year-old telling me, Heinrich, you can do this. And
awesome.
I kept on to that dream.
So last one, if you had a billboard on the N1 and your face is there and there's a speech bubble, what you're telling the world? Yeah,
it's my famous quote. I say, work hard in silence, let success be your noise.
Nice, man.
I believe everyone's definition for success is different, but you don't have to go and portray it everywhere about your successes or what you believe is success. So work hard in silence, and that's sometimes a bit difficult because that's my motto and my way of life. But people want to see you on social media. They want to see where you're involved. And it's quite difficult because my left hand, as I promised, will never see what my right hand does. So when I do do charity work. You know, I try and leave my camera at home. But it's also important to have people see what you're involved and how they can get involved.
Yeah, 100%.
So I do post on social media, but very minimal.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor being here, and I'm so proud of you, to be honest.
Thanks.
And I follow you every single day and every week and see what you're doing. And it's amazing that one guy that simply started a Instagram page. I don't know what was first, Facebook or Instagram.
It's probably Facebook, yeah.
And then you just, the amount of followers you have and people involved, I'm very proud of you. And,
thanks, dude.
It's amazing. And as we spoke before this interview, I'm going to get involved, so I'm going to say it live now, is that Upcycle will definitely take hands with the village guy. And wherever you see there's a need, please pop us a message and we'll post it out on our page, because that is mainly focused on people knowing that UpcycleSA, okay, that's the foundation that gives back regarding sports equipment. And of course, we are so developed now where we do clothes as well, and food parcels, so wherever we can help.
Well, if you're looking for a list of needs, I've got them here in my pocket. I got 20.
Trust me, our inbox and our mailbox is full of those needs, but that's cool.
Cool. Isaac, thanks so much, man. It was super cool talking to you.
Cool. Thanks, man.
See you.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys, Heinrich Gabler, former Mr. SA, but please, where can they get hold of Upcycle? Tell people.
It's on Facebook, on Instagram, and then of course,
what's the name?
It's UpcycleSA.
All right.
They will pick it up there.
Okay, cool.
And then, of course, my page is also there. They can pop me a DM and I'll get involved with them.
See you guys. Yeah, so education, sport, I mean, that's why I want to hear about this foundation. So follow them on Instagram, UpcycleSA, Facebook, UpcycleSA, and get involved. I mean, you're here in Paul and Wellington. So if you can, get involved. Thanks.